good evening and welcome to On Point Opinions. I'm Bobby P. Kinzer,
And I'm Juan Holcomb.
and we are On Point Opinions, the show that talks about all the most interesting and hot topics around the country and around the world. So glad you can join us the first Sunday of every month at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We have this show, and we want to let you know it's all about your opinion. And we hope you just join us. If you click on the like button and the heart button helps give us traction. And remember, the more comments you put in the comment box, the better it is for us also. And use the comment box. That's how we interact with the audience. So if you have opinion on anything we're talking about, or if you have a topic that you would like to discuss, just put it in the comment box. And I'm telling you, we will definitely, try to cover it. So, Juan, how's everything been? How you been?
I can't complain, Bob. Glad to be back in the seat again, and got to hit a little golf balls. So life is good, Bob. I won't complain. A lot going on, though. It seems like the month is just chock full of events that hit it. How about you, Bob?
Man, I'm just loving life, man. It's been great. Just finished a whole series of teaching personal finance in the Alexandria Detention Center. It was so rewarding, man.
Good for you.
6 series thing, teaching inmates within the prison. So that's been good.
Good.
And life was good. But let me tell you something, Juan. There has been so much going on since the last time we had this show. It's amazing just how how much stuff goes on.
Right.
I mean, it's every time we do a show and we recap when we have our production meeting, it's like, dang, and we don't even get all of the stuff. Right. We try to get most of the hot stuff, right. But it's so much. I mean, even while we be putting our list together, stuff be happening.
Yes. We have to add stuff.
That just goes to show you. Yeah. But just want to let people know about this show. This show is all about, dealing with, we give a disclaimer, this is just our opinions, but we opine or opine on facts. And that's one thing that we want to get across. So many people, a lot of people are just lazy. They don't research. They just take sound bites that they hear on their favorite news channel. And we just want to spend some time and clear things and put things out there that is truthful. Now, whether you like them or not, that's on you. And whether you, agree with our opinion, that's also on you.
Absolutely.
We definitely deal with the facts. And we want to do that and try to get, because there's so much misinformation out there. First of all, a lot of times it's lack of information that people don't get. But the biggest one is misinformation. That's all we want to try to clarify. So with that, Juan, I want to start with how we usually start off with a recap of some of the things that have occurred since August to today, September the 3rd. I mean, we had the growth in the economy, which surpassed Japan. America, believe it or not, amongst the developed countries, have moved to the #1 position as far as growth in the economy. Now, a lot of people don't feel that. So I know they probably say, well, hey, how's that? And I don't feel it in my pocket, but it's true. I mean, we surpassed Japan, and I don't know when we've done that.
And that's critical too, Bob, and you'll know this as the finance man, that coming out of a pandemic, people have already forgotten about the pandemic. Coming out of a pandemic, that our economy is in this shape is really a testament to what somebody's doing.
Let's just say President Biden, a lot of stuff is from his policies too. Let's just call it what it is. I mean,
and we'll discuss that later too.
Because administration is in.
Everybody feel like that. That's a good point, Bob.
Right, but it's a fact. You can't deny it. It's his administration that's in. Now, he don't have nothing to do with inflation, but a lot of things he's done has helped.
Right.
It has helped. And some things is just the business cycle, how they occur. Another thing is President Biden, negotiated with the top 10 pharmaceutical companies in America.
That's right.
To negotiate for Medicare drugs. I mean, big.
To get those prices down, right?
Yeah,
right? So we have fair prices. Right.
Then we had.
And I've always thought, Bob, that pharmaceuticals gouge like gas, oil.
Well, not only do they gouge, so does the insurance companies.
Absolutely.
Gouge. I mean, we can go down the list, but they get a pass. The pharmaceuticals, remember when they had the whole it was a bill that they passed, and the healthcare. When they passed healthcare, they didn't even touch the pharmaceutical companies.
No.
You know, they were left out. You know, they were left to do their things. But anyway, let's keep going with the general list. You had the shooting at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, where my daughter actually goes, and it happened not too far from one of the buildings that she was in. She was on lockdown. That was pretty interesting, texting her and trying to keep her calm. You had, look, Ron,
that's big.
The Hawaii wildfires, man, the severe weather. I mean, just wiped, man.
Wiped out a whole historic community, Bob.
And then the big one of all to me, the granddaddy, Trump and the Georgia indictment, Trump and the indictments from the Georgia Attorney General, along with 10 co-defendants that were indicted.
18, Bob, 18.
So what I said, 10. 18.
They wish it was 10.
Yeah, I know.
18 co-defendants, 19 of them.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we will.
This major. And the Republicans' primary debate, oh my God, that Trump skips.
Yeah.
Oh, was that a circus? You had the Justice Department appointed Weiss, the special counsel for the Hunter Biden probe, which they had actually plea bargained, then they took it off the table, and the judge that actually plea bargained became the judge that's going to be, the special counsel that's going to be, going through this probe again.
Yeah. And he's been probing for 5 years. He's been investigating for 5
years, man. Then you got, Governor Huckabee Sanders of Arkansas passed a bill with no credits for AP classes and African American history classes. I mean, come on, it's just becoming too obvious what they're trying to do. Then you had the continuation of the commemoration of the March on Washington, 60 years, Juan.
60 years.
60 years. And it's so interesting because a couple of people asked me, was I going to go down there? And I said, no, in spirit, because what people don't realize, Juan, even going all the way back to all the marches, it was young people out there marching. It wasn't old people. Now they might have got it 2 blocks away and then pull the old person in the wheelchair, put them in the front. But that's young people, man. I mean, but that's big. 60
years. And there were some good young speakers, Bob, that really said some impressive things too. So
that's good.
It gives me hope. Yeah.
And then we had the racially motivated mass shooting at the Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida.
On the same day as the march.
Same day. What a coincidence. And he went to a black school first.
Historically black school.
And they ran him off and did that. Then you had the sentencing of the Proud Boys. Now, they did the sentencing of the Oath Keepers. So this was the Proud Boys were up for sentences. And they gave out some good sentences from the January 6th insurrection. I think they gave about 17 years, but they were supposed to be like 30. But it still is amazing that they cut it down to 17.
I want to, hopefully we could, kind of go back and forth over that a little bit. I have an opinion on I definitely have an opinion on that, on the sentencing, Bob. And there's another big one coming Tuesday.
Right.
For the
leader.
Torio.
And I got something about that too, Juan. I got an opinion on that. So we're going to have to discuss that. I got a little opinion about that. Then, Juan, we had this, the new political group called the No Labels. Oh, Jesus Christ. The No Labels considering running an independent campaign for the president and holding a convention this fall. Now, that might just, cut
That's
into,
curious.
yeah, that might just cut into the votes on the Democrat side. But I don't know, it might cut both ways. Then we had the congressional Republicans starting an impeachment process against Biden.
Yeah.
And they don't even know what they're going to impeach him on.
Hunter, his son.
Yeah,
But,
that ain't gonna
yeah.
work. You can't do that.
Right.
So they don't even know what they're going to impeach him on. That's so silly.
I don't think they have some holdouts probably taking their time up, but it looks likely. And
no, it don't, because they can't. They can make started, but they don't even know what they're going to try to impeach him on.
And they may not fund the government too. That's coming up.
Oh, yep. Stopping the government, shutting the government down.
Shut the government down
again.
Right. Here we go again.
Then you got Rudy Giuliani, who lost the defamation case against the two Black women posters down in Georgia. And
I have some thoughts on.
You're not going to spend no time on that, I don't think. But
I have a couple thoughts.
I don't even think they're going to sit down because Rudy is broke,
and he's a co-defendant in the case with Trump. So
right,
he has some legal problems. I'll
and
throw
then,
another one out.
Then one of the last ones. I mean, there's so many more ones.
I know. I have one. I might throw out there too, Bob.
Okay, well, let me give you this other one.
Okay.
Mitch McConnell freeze. I mean, twice, and that's just twice they told us one that we saw.
Right.
Come on, these ones. So, and look, this is one of the people that are making decisions for the country. He's leading the he's leading the brand.
Yeah, he's looking like he's had a couple of concussions too, Bob. That's concerning because those falls. Those falls, man, it's hard to break.
And he's old as I don't know what, too. One, he's old as dirt. Okay, stop it. He's old as dirt. And just another one, Juan. President Biden put up a bill that would, what is it called? A move to extend mandatory overtime for pay for approximately 3.6 million people, meaning if they work over 40 hours a week, they can get time and a half. Right now, a lot of people don't get that. That's the biggest since Obama, because it's like, if you make $1,000 per week or about $55,000 a year, you can then qualify. And this is the things that kill, but I'm not going to start getting into it, but he's doing and nobody talks about. That's helping, the average person. Two last ones, Juan. The Russian, I forgot what the currency is. I think it's rubles.
Ruble.
It's down less than 1%. Less than 1%. It's how to put it. It's 1 cent, less than 1 cent to the U.S. dollar. Less than 1 cent, and they up here trying to attack people, and I mean they're struggling. And then their inflation is at 18%. And then look at China. China's unemployment is so bad that they stopped reporting it, especially they won't even report about the youth people anymore. And their unemployment is up 21%. So they talk about America, man. People talk about, I don't know what Joe Biden. But anyway, you said you had one, Juan?
Well, those are big points, and we're going to do a little Biden update, so we will kick back that. But there was a raid, Bob, at a Kansas City newspaper earlier in the month from the police, the local police. What made it such an interesting story, because it's a long time paper, but purportedly they had been investigating the police chief there. And they sent the police and raided the home, the editor and chief of the this very old and established paper in Kansas City. And the woman, 90, how old was she? 90 something, and she passed the next day. It was too much for her heart. But we're outraged around the country and really the world because of the journalists are supposed to have freedom. And so that was really a big deal. And then they ended up rescinding. They don't know how the judge signed something to let them go in there. So they believe that they're corruption, but they rescinded the warrant. And this is after the lady's passed and after they took all the stuff out of her house, her computers, everything. So that was quite a outrage. I thought that's interesting. That's the heartland, Kansas City. So it just goes to show you things go along everywhere. But, journalists are not feeling safe and fair.
So let's start with our first topic, one that we start off with, and it's going to be the Biden update. You started off.
Well, Bob, we just came off of some of Biden's achievements, but just as you're good with statistics, but Bob, for the month of August now, they raised over 187,000 jobs created, which is about been, what is it, 3 consecutive months now, Bob. It's been below 200, which was,
yeah, they were projecting 200,000.
200,000 plus, but they say the economy might be slowing down. The Feds have been continuing to raise interest rates and trying to slow the economy. It's interesting how it works inversely. They want to slow the economy down to hopefully reduce inflation, but the economy still can run hot. But they say maybe that's what they wanted. They wanted jobs to slow down, but the unemployment rate ticked up of 3.8% from 3.5%, but it's still historically low.
Well, no question.
And Biden, you mentioned about the pharmaceutical trying to lower the drug costs, and it did, and allowing Medicare to negotiate prices outside the U.S. and abroad. Biden had not really commented on Trump booking, but he did say handsome guy.
Right. Hey,
right.
Let me back on. I'll piggyback on the unemployment rate, even though it went up to 3.8%.
Right.
I mean, that's low, and this is I want people to understand. A low unemployment rate like 3.8 favors employees. Why? Because that means there are a lot of jobs out there, and you're able to get. So it goes against employers because they piss you off. You can say, "I'm out of here," and go, and there's other jobs out to you. But when the unemployment rate is high, it favors the employers, and they know you can't just leave and walk out the door, be fed up because there's not that many jobs out there. So a low unemployment rate definitely helps employees.
And they say that, Bob, that there are still a lot of jobs. They're still trying to fill a lot of jobs. And I thought it was interesting that they're trying to make it mandatory that folks have to come back into the office at least 3 days a week now. They're making it mandatory. So that's still a big thing. They got all these places that they've leased. But Bob, it was something else with the Biden update. And you kind of talked about it. We got the statistics out there, but even in our event part, you talked about some of the things Biden has done and been successful with. But just for the audience, Bob and I got into a little conversation back and forth because we get comments about Biden. But he's doing a lot. I wanted to ask Bob, in your opinion, with all of these successes, Bob, and I know we talk about this every week, but the poll numbers seem to still be relatively flat. That's the word I'll use. Even with all these things going on with Trump. But why do you think that is, Bob? Or why would you think that he would get a lot more credit? Is it a communication thing? But we get comments. I got some comments from my son, which I listen to what his age group say. And Bob, you even got some things on the street, and that's pretty much how posters do. But sometimes it just doesn't seem to resonate. Are they getting that message out there, these successes that he has?
Well, this is the issue, I think, Juan. There's so many places to get information now. The World Wide Web is just like the highway for information. And like I said earlier, there's so much misinformation. And so it's flooded. Then you got a segment of people, don't care what he do.
True.
Don't care what he do, they're going to talk about him. then you got people, it seems like it's they just get a joy out of just being negative about people, because they use these buzzwords, like dog whistles, like Sleepy Joe, or he's so old, and I'm like, what about all the things he did? I don't care, as long as he's still living,
right?
But I mean, for years there've been old politicians that've been in there for years.
Right.
Jesse Helms,
right.
What's that other guy? It was
Strom Thurmond.
He was wheeling them in wheelchairs, and so why all of a sudden now his age becomes an issue? So I don't know, Juan. That's the best I can think of.
But all your points are valid. We do have a problem with age in this country, but just like you said, some of the comments, my son dropped in a little crack. We were talking about the Republican debate, and then he said the vultures are circling Biden, going after his deteriorating carcass, looking at I thought, oh, my son cracking it a little bit on Biden, but I told him he's elusive. I came back with he's elusive though. But I think that, and it was something you said too, Bob, even though we talked about Mitch McConnell and his falls, Mitch McConnell's younger than Biden. So I do think his age plays against him, especially America has a thing about ageism. Well, they have every ism in America there is, but I think ageism and Nikki Haley, she had probably one of the best cracks. She's been hard on the age group, but she even talked about McConnell and said that the Senate is one of the most protected senior citizens home in America. So, I full disclosure, I did not like Nikki Haley, but that's one thing that they are using is age. But I don't know sometimes, man. I'm like, Biden is killing it. I think he's doing well, and I don't agree with a lot of things he's doing. So don't get me wrong, but
see,
you have to give him credit for the things.
See, there you go. You make a statement like that, like other people. I don't agree with everything that he does, but what is it that you disagree with what he does? That's just like a general comment. I don't agree. It's not nothing I don't disagree with that he's done. Now, I don't know all of the things that he's done, but I don't know nothing that I know currently that I disagree with that he's done. One thing I probably disagree. Yeah. When he first got in, he signed that bill against hate crime against Asians. I mean, I don't mean I'm disagreeing from doing it about the Asians, but he couldn't do nothing about the George Floyd bill. He couldn't do nothing about the John Lewis bill. That, yes, now that I think about it,
we want to push him.
Yeah.
Well, he just sent back some Haitian migrants trying to get here. Haiti is really struggling right now, and they just flew them back to chaos, and I thought that was
they always, but I think they always penalize the Haitians, right?
Yes.
The Haitians were one of the first that got their independence from slavery from I think the French, if I'm right.
Correct.
And they've never been able to recover since. They always got a foot in their neck. It seems like.
Right, country, right.
It's like
they paid reparations to France for right up to the day almost. They're paying reparations to France for their freedom. Freedom. It's crazy.
And as you see, the eternal dark elf said, when we're talking about why is Biden not getting more traction? He said people are just living; they're not plugged in to current events. That's
excellent point.
Statement.
Excellent point. And I've always thought that people who are kind of what they call quote unquote liberals or whatever, they are truly doing their thing. They're not plugged in. Most people don't watch some of the things we watch. You have to realize that, and that's an excellent point. But they still need to communicate better. I think the news doesn't always do it for them. But Bob. You said
Well,
it.
the news.
You can get your information from so many places.
Remember, the news is all about selling news. You know what I mean? And they get a pass a lot of times, and that's one of the things I do agree with Trump sometimes when he talks about the fake news.
Fake news.
You know, it's across the board. The news get a lot of pass on some things.
Yes, they do, Bob. Yes, they do.
And people forget they're just selling, you know, news. You know,
right?
So okay, Juan. With that, let's switch to judicial issues. And Trump is indicted again. This is the 4th indictment. Okay, 18 of his allies, co-defendants. There were 30 unindicted conspirators. Did you know that one?
No.
It was 18 indicted, but it was 30 unindicted conspirators. A 41 count indictment. Trump has 13 felony accounts. It was 100-page long. 100-page long. And now he has a total of 48 jurors that will be trying him from the different indictments. 48 jurors.
Wow.
12 jurors, right?
Wow.
I mean, 12, because it's 12 jurors for.
Right, each one. Wow.
40, I mean, and they still want to vote for this man for president?
And I think the unindicted defendants will be witnesses, many of them.
Right.
That's the whole.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing.
They're gonna be witnesses.
Well, they're gonna be singing. Oh, they're gonna be singing like a canary because they're gonna put. This is different, dealing with Congress, and the Senate, policies, but this is the law. You can go to jail, and look when they lay out that and say, look, you're gonna have maybe 15 to 30 years. Them boys gonna be singing like a canary. You know who they're gonna be the first one singing one?
Who's that?
Rudy Giuliani. He is so, oh man. And Trump ain't giving him no money for his law.
No,
Actually, he wasn't paying him.
He wasn't paying him in the first place.
Right.
He deserves it, though. He deserves it, man. And I think he's getting his comeuppance. But the fact that they all had to turn themselves in, Bob, and take mug shots was classic. I know that made them.
And they made it a heroic thing now. Trump is making so much money off selling mugs with his mug on it.
What about that? What's that about?
He's the all-time grifter, man.
What is that about? He's selling his mug
They
shot.
said he sold so much merchandise. I'm talking about in the hundreds of millions.
Wow.
I mean, how many cups can you buy?
Wow.
And look, and everybody knows mugshot is no badge of honor. Right. Even if he wasn't convicted yet, God dang.
Right. Who would want to take a mugshot? But they've turned that into a money-making device. And why is he raising money on everything? He's supposed to be a billionaire.
Right. Oh, trying to make money on a dang cover. Didn't have a fund set up for his, but that's the fake out. That's the fake out part. But let's talk a little bit about so much to talk about. But let's talk a little bit about. We did talk about Giuliani and the women.
He has to pay $130,000, and still they have to decide about what the punitive costs.
I don't think it matters because he ain't got no money. He might not never see a penny, Juan.
They might not ever.
Now they said Rudy has a home up there in New York worth $6 million. And I'm thinking, I'm sure he probably put up some of that for this
some legal fees.
The bond money. No, the bond money. I'm sure he pledged some of that for the bond money that they had to, pledge, right? But Rudy had to sell that house. But the other one, let's talk about the Proud Boys, man. Sentence between 10 and 18 years. Then they were up for about 30 or more years. And the judge just gives them 17.
Right. That's the way I felt about it. I thought that's a big cut down. That's a big cut down.
I mean, what's that about?
Well, I wondered myself. I know that one of the judges was, and it was a Trump appointed judge, but what may add insult to injury, one of the guys that only got 10 years. And they'd asked for more from him. He was weeping, talking to the judge. And then when they gave him his conviction, he walked out and said, Trump won, and raised his fist. So I just think they make a mockery of it. And I just think that they really got left off the hook. Those prosecutors asked for 30 years, which was within the sentencing guidelines. And I thought that was interesting. And I'll just use an analogy. I remember when the former mayor of Detroit, they called him the hip hop mayor.
Kwame
Kilpatrick.
Kilpatrick.
His mother was a very well-known, accomplished congresswoman. Many people had talked about Kwame being a presidential hopeful because he was very popular. He had it all. He had the charisma and had everything, but got caught up. And I think, he had an affair and mismanaged money. And what I thought was interesting, and this is a white collar things, and they gave him 22 to 25 years. Right. And I thought, and I remember when the former chief of staff for for Trump was going to be sentenced, and people thought he might get 15 years, and because of his age, that was going to be like a life sentence to him, and he ended up getting like 6 years, and some of those suspended. And then Trump pardoned him, but Kwame got 25 years for a financial, and I can't even remember what he did exactly. And here these guys, seditious conspiracy, attacking the Capitol, and they get their sentences cut down. And the judge said some very valiant things and very right things, but he cut the sentence down. I don't know. What do you think the Proud Boy leader will get this coming Tuesday? His sentence.
I told you I got a little theory.
Okay.
That he's a black man.
He's something. Yes.
Oh, okay. A man of color. Okay, I won't call him black. Man of color.
Thank you.
So, and when it first went down, all of it went down. He disappeared. They had him, but he was the head, right? And now it's just coming to this. I think he's an undercover agent for the federal government. One.
Mm-hmm.
Watch. I think he's going to disappear off the map. They're going to sentence him, and he's going to disappear off the grid. I'm serious. I think he might go in the witness protection program, because I really think the way it went, because he stayed, and then, who would have thought a man of color leading some racist guys, what I'm saying? I swear I think he's a plant one. I swear I think he's a federal agent, and he's getting ready to disappear. That's just my opinion, ladies.
Right. This is opinion. But you heard it here first.
I'm just trying to tell you.
We'll check that.
Just like I told people, Juan, Trump was going to end up like OJ. When OJ was running in the Bronco and they were chasing him, police cars, Trump was going to try to flee in his Trumpmobile, his plane, and F-18s are going to be trailing him like OJ. He's going to try to go to Russia, and Putin going to play him and say, "You can't come here." Then he's going to try to go to North Korea, and Young Jong-un going to play him. Then he's going to try to go to Saudi Arabia, and they're going to say, "Not here." So he's going to be circling around the world, and they're going to be chasing him like OJ in the Bronco. Remember, you heard it first here. I'm just saying.
You heard it first here.
I'm just saying. Okay, it may sound crazy, but
one Proud Boy disappeared. They let him be on house arrest.
I ain't mad at
the last 2 years, and now they can't find him.
He's
probably fighting over in Ukraine.
Hey Juan, I ain't mad at him. I would be hauled ass too.
They can't find him.
They can't. No.
What did they go home for?
But listen to my theory.
I duly noted.
Find them, man. With technologies now, they find them up in the mountains, in the bush. The boys didn't even have cell phones, and they find these boys.
Right.
Can't find them. Remember my theory.
Right. I heard that before.
I'm just trying to tell you. Because remember what happened up there in Minnesota when they tried to plot to kidnap the governor? Remember that got thwarted.
Yeah.
They had a plan for the FBI, got all the way up to where they do it.
Sure did.
And
That's going to be a movie, I think.
I'm just saying it. I'm just saying. And while let's go to the politics of the topics, like the president, let's talk about, and it seems so long ago now, Juan, the debate, the Republican debate. What was your take on that? Who you think did well?
I don't know who saw it in our audience, but I was not impressed by anybody. I think they're clowns. I think they're all running for, or some of them running for vice president, or the majority of the vice president. But as Sharpton asked Swami last night on his show, Rajma Swami or whatever, and he probably was the breakout guy, the one with the least
experience. Because he was over talking people.
He was over talking. He talks quick and he talks fast. He has things for them. But when you asked me who might have broken out, I thought DeSantis was a dud. But I think that that's what they are really campaigning, because they were asked by the host, the moderator, what if Trump is convicted, how many of you all would support him for president if he is the primary winner? And all of them just about raised their hand. DeSantis tried to look around first, and then, but I think the only two, Asa Hutchinson, the governor, and Christie. And but none of them have any conviction. How are you going to do that? And then they just about all of them said they would pardon him. So
a convicted person, a convicted
felon, and
it just shows their colors, Juan. That's what I like.
And these are supposed to be law and order. They're the law and order party. And
well, I thought Haley did pretty well because she stepped.
Yes, she did separate herself too.
Yes, Swami is out to lunch, Juan. He said that people who are anti-racist are actually racist. He said they are the new Ku Klux Klan. Now, if that doesn't disqualify him as a crazy, stupid, because he's just trying to run for vice president.
And I think he tries to be the smartest person in the room. Right. I agree with you, Bob. And he talked specifically about Ayanna Pressley, Congresswoman, and Kendi, the author and professor, calling them equivalent of the Grand Wizard of KKK, which is asinine and dangerous.
But that's their playbook, Juan. They just trying to reverse. This is how they took the word woke, which goes all the way back to this blues singer who first introduced years ago the concept of woke was supposed to be just being aware, and they done took it and flipped it and made it like against white people,
it really is kind of under attack. But I thought the debate didn't distinguish anybody. But I agree with you. Nikki Haley also was a standout. Pence found a little bit of his voice, I guess, Bob.
Say it again.
Pence found a little bit of his voice, although he got booed.
Well, she ain't found nothing. Pence ain't got. He's an empty suit.
Although he got booed.
He's a punk in an empty suit. Now, Sabrina said that though Ramaswamy is, seems out to lunch, that people still like him. Do you understand why people like people like that, Juan?
Well, I think my son, once again, he kind of likes him. We were bantering back and forth, and for those of
you in the audience, have you heard some of his policies, some of the stuff? And like Nikki Haley said, he don't know nothing about
foreign policy.
He makes his talked about the vaccine and all this crazy,
and climate change. Talking about all the.
Well, now Juan, I gotta tell you, I just saw George Carlin, the comedian, the old guy that died.
Yes, of course, George Carlin. Love George Carlin.
I just saw a YouTube clip of him. He said, man, the world, Earth is over a billion years old, and it's been being beaten up, battered, and tattered, and back and forth. And we might have been, he said, but so the civilization might have been over maybe, 200 years. I mean, 200,000 years, right? And he said, then, we, been, so many years and, earthquakes and tsunamis and what's it called? Polar reversing, magnetic reversed, and
polar, right?
Major fires and meteorites and all of this. And he said, and we worry about some plastic bags, aluminum cans of destroying the earth. He said, you know what? We are leaving. Earth ain't going nowhere. We are leaving.
We'll be the one leaving.
But it was so profound,
Oh, he was ahead of his time.
He said the earth been battered, meteorites, all kinds of electric, and you
wiped out.
He said, and you think the earth is going to be destroyed with some plastic bags and aluminum cans? It makes you want to think, well, I ain't gonna lie.
Oh no,
I'm not saying, I fully go with that concept, but I just had to laugh when I saw that, man.
Yeah, George Carlin was classic.
Hey, Juan, tell me something about Fannie Willis, man. I mean, they're trying to get rid of her.
She's under attack, and I've even heard some of my friends sent me some things on her. There's a lot of criticism of her, and I don't know if it's some of it has to do with being against a woman being in that power position, but I don't see her. If she is trying to boost her career, I think she should. Everybody should try to do what they can. Well, she may run for office, but I tell you what, taking on this kind of case is monumental, and she's in for it, man. They're Jim Jordan and the Freedom Caucus crew. They've requested all her documents. I don't think they can get it. They did the same thing with D.A. Bragg, but she's a Fulton County District Attorney. She's not even an Attorney General, but the pressure is hard. But one thing Kemp did, the governor of Georgia, he pushed back on a request by their state legislature to make her step down or make it. He said he hadn't seen her do anything wrong because he's running a kind of clever little thing too. But I think she's under pressure, Bob.
Well,
I give her credit, but they're trying her all different things. She wanted to try all the defendants, 18 together, but they're all asking Meadows wants his case moved to federal court. He's trying. The others are separating their cases. They want to call it out. So I don't know how that's going to affect her, but they have their hands full. But I think she's up to the task, and I hope she's up to the task.
Well, Juan, our producer, Sabrina Holcomb, sent us a correction. His name is Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy. But on this show, we just call him Swami.
Swami, yes.
He was short.
Swami.
The Swami man. So,
but my son likes him. He kind of likes him too, man.
But did he say why?
Well, I think that they find him somewhat refreshing. And my son, for all those, full disclosure, he lives in England, but so that's their view. But it's important to hear how they view him, because I know people here view him in that case. But I think he's running for, but he's young, and he has a kind of a way with word. He talks quick, and I think that resonates with some.
He is wishy-washy. He goes back. They have him on tape saying one thing, and he came back and said another. I mean, that's why I say people don't do no research on these guys.
I agree 100%.
It's ridiculous. So look, we got a miscellaneous. We got a miscellaneous topic, which is the 60th anniversary on the March on Washington.
In the continuation march, they called it.
Yeah. And it was people that went down there. But I want to tell you a quick little story about the 30th anniversary on the March on Washington.
Mm-hmm.
This reporter named Hotest, right, white guy. He was a Martin Luther King follower, right? So he took a cameraman down on the monument grounds, right? The 30th anniversary was, and he went down there. He thought he was going to get, a lot of interviews from people. Was nobody down there on the 30th anniversary of the march. And he was so profoundly affected, he started coming up 17th Street and decided to listen. Let me interview, people about the 30th anniversary of the March on Washington. And he comes up 17th Street, and 17th goes to Connecticut. He goes up Connecticut, and he goes right below on the Connecticut Avenue, Duke Seabirds. And standing there is two old black men, and he wanted to interview him. They said, "No, don't talk to us. Why don't you go upstairs and talk to Walter Cronkite? He's up eating upstairs at Duke Seabirds." They go upstairs, him and his cameraman. And who do they run into first? It's Jimmy the Greek. And they go to interview Jimmy. Jimmy had a few drinks, right? And Jimmy started going off about, I don't know if you remember, about how blacks, they were better athletes and they had hind legs, they could jump. And that's how they ended up, from his interview, getting rid of Jimmy the Greek. But what Jimmy the Greek was really just saying, he was saying, why can't y'all just leave some jobs for, as white folks stuff? He said, at least we could be a manager. He said, at least we could be a minister. But that's what he said, but they never proved that. But it was all because of the 30th anniversary of the March on Washington. The year, nobody was down there. The guy, he was a follower. He was a follower of Martin Luther King. Great guy. He also wrote a book about 100 years of black jockeys, how the first 10 Kentucky Derby was won by black jockeys that were slaves, still slaves. But anyway, do a little history about that March on Washington the 30. But talk a little.
And for those of you who don't know, Jimmy the Greek, we're back when he was his name was big around.
And he was the betting guy.
Betting guy.
But can you, in that full circle to one now, they got betting legally, but remember he was the guy that was giving the odds of the sports, really.
Right.
A lot of people, he had half people liked him and half people didn't like him. But he was really giving the betting odds back then. Now look at that. We got FanDuel and all of this kind of stuff, legal betting and stuff. Isn't that interesting? I just thought about that. Come full circle.
Well, sadly, Bob, also on that day, though, that's when that shooting down at the Dollar General in Florida, in Jacksonville, on that same day. And we mentioned it in our events, very tragic, and they tried to go to a university. And I said, and I asked the question, was it a coincidence or intentional? But also back in 1960, in Jacksonville, young people, as you mentioned, were playing the NAACP. The young man, I saw an interview who was a teenager then, and he was the youth council director for the NAACP. They were trying to integrate the lunch counters at Woolworth. They started at Woolworth, and in a park down the street, some guys, white guys dressed in Confederate gear, were passing out axe handles, and they went down the street and started beating blacks severely, and they called that Axe Handle Saturday, and that was in '60. So, it could have been a bit of both, because that was in 1960, around the same time as well. There are people who are really, I think, following these things and have. It's a very dangerous time. And I think the attacks, DeSantis and the attacks on black is responsible for it. And he tried to come out and speak. And I was glad to see that they booed him down and said he helped stoke the fire.
You're talking about DeSantis.
DeSantis in Florida, yes. And I just heard today that there was a rally in neo-Nazis in Orlando, Florida today. So,
well, when I went to Montgomery, Alabama for a convention for the FDIC, I got on a Monday, and the lady at the receptionist there said, yesterday, Sunday, they had a rally right in front of the daggone hotel, and I didn't feel comfortable, a white supremacist rally right there in front of the hotel, right?
I'm sure.
And so I asked her, "Well, is that why y'all didn't have enough sheets, clean sheets when?" Juan, I asked her, they didn't have. I had to wait for my room, and she said they're getting some sheets. I said, "Well, was that because of the rally the day before?" But anyway, Juan, I digress. Okay, I'm gonna stop. So Juan, hey Juan.
No, we needed that. We needed to break it up. We're not. Hey.
Hey Juan. So look, let's talk about the movie Blind Side. Who is Michael Orr?
Sports Day. Michael Orr.
We're going to sports, you all. Yeah. If you want to keep up.
Moving to sports, you guys. Just as we round out, we like to do sports, as Bob always says. That's our background, and we're both professional athletes. And Bob has even authored a book about his time playing overseas. And I'm in the book.
Juan is in it.
I won't tell you where. but that's all I'm saying. Full disclaimer. But Michael Orr was a outstanding professional football player and star athlete out of Ole Miss, one of those schools. But a movie was made about, I had this debate with Gail last night about who the movie was about. It was supposed to be about this young guy gets kind of adopted by a family, well-to-do family. A big black guy gets adopted by a white family. And it was a hit movie. But I really thought the movie was more about the star of the movie who played the wife and mother of the family. I thought the movie really was about her. But Michael Orr, Blindside went on to become a big hit, made lots of money, won an Oscar. What's the lady's name? Oh my goodness. Who starred in the movie. She was really good in the movie, and she won an Oscar for that portrayal. And since then, Michael Orr now is suing the family, and because he's under a conservatorship. The family is a conservator. He always thought, or apparently alleged, he thought that he was adopted by the family, but they had him sign papers to be a conservatorship. So it's like a little bit like he wants to do what Britney Spears did, because they control, a conservator controls your money. It controls your business arrangements. It can flow through them. So he did not like some of the portrayals in that. I think he said they portrayed him as not being able to read, etc. But and I did hear that then, but purportedly he knew about some of these things they're saying. He was 18 when that was signed, and they said he even wrote a book. So Bob, the thing is, they're trying to see if is he just trying to shake them down. That's the word they use this time. He's like they're starting to come out with the words now. He's shaking us down for more money. But I can understand wanting to get out of that conservatorship. I don't know whether he'll get more money, because they said that everybody got $100,000 each. This movie made big money because it didn't cost them a lot to make. It was a runaway hit. But I think he wants somebody to investigate all the money that was made and what is still owed to him. Okay. But I don't know how far or much he'll get, but I do think he should be let out of that conservatorship.
Okay, well, yeah, I was wondering going on. Let's talk about another subject, Juan. Deion Sanders at the University of Colorado, where 57 players left the team. Now,
and they were 1-11 last year.
And they won in 11, right, last year. But the news media said 57 left, but actually Deion said we talked to 20 of them and told them that this is not going to work for them. And then 37 actually left out, So it's just, but it was a total of 57 players left his team. So yesterday they played.
He took a lot of flack. They try to talk about him, how he told those guys. Right, but go on, Bob. Yeah.
So yesterday they played
first
TCU,
game,
who was in the championship for the College Bowl, and they beat
last year.
45-42. And
exciting game.
Exciting game, you know, big scoring. And Shedeur Sanders, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, his son was the quarterback. And he set a school record for 500 yards.
Over 500 yards
passing. 500 yards passing, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, just a wonderful moment for Deion.
Another record where 4 different receivers on the same team got over 100 yards receiving.
Whoa.
That's never had. He broke that record.
4 different receivers got 100 yards each.
Over passing, receiving.
So you know Deion in the interviews. I haven't seen in the interviews yet.
Oh,
I know he was live.
You didn't see the press conference, Bob?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, he has a little something to say to some of these reporters, you know. So he's good though. He's good the way he controlled it, but you'll have to get that playback. But he did talk about and compliment his son and these players for believing, and you have to give him credit because he can take. They would have lambasted him, and then they want him to be humble. And have you ever seen Deion Sanders humble per se? I mean, that's part of his swagger.
Yes,
right.
I have.
But
by the way, the lady who starred and got the award was Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, thank you, Bob.
Thanks. No, that's our producer. Our producer. Don't thank me. That was our producer who.
Gail had to tell me last night. I can't believe Sandra Bullock, who was outstanding.
Right.
She's good,
right.
But yeah.
So Deion Sanders is good for him, man. And,
yes.
And as far as opinions on that go, one, because a lot of people are saying,
more power to you.
Leave HBCU, you know, but he did so much for HBCUs is there, and I don't fault him. And I know people will probably get on me on this, but I mean that's a Division I top school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some of the conditions that he had under Jackson State wasn't the best, man. I mean, he tried to lift them up, and
he brought publicity to them too.
But so I look, I'm sorry, Mississippi, but ain't no way I let my kid go to school in Mississippi. So for them to get a chance to go to school in Colorado, and I don't know about Colorado, but I know they're tree huggers and they're peacetime, I'm hoping, but they could be just as racist. But I don't think they could be as racist as Mississippi. So I'm glad he provided opportunity for them to step up. And they were riding him about, how could he leave the HBCUs? I mean, what's your feel on it?
Oh no, he did well. He did a great job, and he brought much needed coverage and publicity to what's going on. And there's big problems in Jackson, Mississippi. Deion Sanders, there's big problems beyond the school was just part of how they treat Jackson, the capital of Mississippi. It's a shame. Mississippi ranks last in so many areas. Problems and racism, poverty, and
education.
Education. It's just
sad. Should he have left though? Should he have stayed there for the honor of HBCUs?
No. He did wonders for them, and he's showing that also that's how accomplished the HBCUs are. He can coach anywhere. The players can play anywhere, going all the way back to the Doug Williams and everybody who came through there. I think he did the right thing, and I think that I'm so happy, Bob, just like you said.
And a little
success yesterday.
Historical note. Last year, not this year, 2022, had that the draft yet? Yeah, last year's draft.
Right.
Not one black player was drafted. No, year before that, excuse me. Not one black player was drafted from the HBCU. So that once again goes to show you, because he's got a lot of HBCU players from Jackson State. So anyway, Juan,
and there have been many pros from HBCUs, but they that's historically they didn't draft them too, and Grambling and all, I have
Yeah,
guys I grew
Tucson
up with
State.
made the pros, right? Great,
Fort
great.
Valley State,
Oh, all
Mississippi.
of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Mississippi Valley State,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Air McNair and on and
Yeah.
on and on. Yeah.
So that's Alcorn State. That's right.
Alcorn
So
State.
with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our
Good
show.
point, Bob.
We covered a lot of information.
A lot of ground, yeah.
Yeah, 50 pounds of information in a 10-pound bag.
Bag.
So we hope you enjoyed it. I hope you made you think.
Yes.
We hope we enlightened you, because that's one of our goals, is hopefully we told you about something that you didn't know and corrected some things that have been wrongly stated out there.
Yes.
So look, with that stated, we are here the first Sunday of every month. So the next first Sunday, it's going to be October the 1st, Juan.
October the 1st. Okay. We kick off the month for real.
Yeah, there's going to be so much going on between now and then.
Yeah,
it's kind of
every day. We got to go and see what happened while we were on.
While we were on. I know. So good show, Juan.
Hope. Bob.
And this is On Point's Opinion.
And happy Labor Day. Everybody have a good Labor Day.
Oh, that's right.
And a safe Labor Day.
Yeah. And remember, it may be your opinion, but facts still matters. Have a great day. Peace.